Yeah, you were saying?
How long will it take?
5-10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, 10 plus 2. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I'm just going quickly to the network, to the DC here, and
We're going to add 3 network cards?
I'm just gonna quickly add 3 network cards here, and oh, so I'll send the video. Server 1. Well, this is the mucho importante part. So I will just wait for the video. I'll upload that. It's a very small video today. So add. I'm just gonna quickly add 3 network cards here, or 4. Let's add 4. So next, I think we are all host only, right?
Server 1 setting.
Yeah, settings, and add network adapter. I think we are a host only. I don't know. Yeah, host only. Okay, finish. 1 is done. Second, add network adapter. Next, host only. Finish. Third, network adapter. Next, host only. Finito. So total 4 network adapters. Oh, why am I on VMnet 12? Okay, so yeah, this is also host only. So now I have 4 network adapters host only. The only thing to do here is, once they are added, just quickly go to the local server here.
How many we are adding? 3 more, huh?
3 more. Total 4. And these network adapters all got the IP address from DHCP automatically, but we're not concerned about that. NIC teaming is disabled. I'm just gonna go and click enable the NIC teaming. So click disabled. Again, click disabled here. NIC teaming on the local server. So this is just quickly creating a video, and then all the 4 network cards are showing here, just like the drives were showing to us. Network cards are showing here, right? Here. All networks are showing to everyone? Whoever? Every 2 is... no one today. So, new team. Okay. Oh.
How will I enable that?
Okay, assalamualaikum.
I went to
Okay.
teaming.
Yeah.
You can upload the video first.
Oh yeah.
On the local server, I went to
Bye.
teaming.
Yeah.
How will I enable it?
Enable what? So you're there, local server.
Yeah.
You see all those?
Yeah.
Okay. NIC teaming here.
Yeah, I press it.
Okay. So 4 network cards showing here should be just create the NIC team tasks. New team. Now, so exchange, server, team. We could just name anything. NIC team 1, NIC team 2. Maybe we have 10 network cards. Okay, so we'll use all of them. So I'll just select all. The main options come down this additional properties. So I select all, give any name, additional properties, show everything. So teaming mode, switch independent, static teaming or LSCP. Static teaming and LSCP is for incoming traffic, and you need to configure something on the switch as well, right? Switch independent is by default, which means independent of switch configuration, right? Dynamic load balancing mode, either it is dynamic or Hyper-V port or address hash. So this is for outgoing traffic. So address hash is for outgoing traffic. Hyper-V port, if this server is supporting Hyper-V as well, we can go for Hyper-V port as well, right? We are not having Hyper-V right now. Right now the easiest one, let's go for dynamic, which is the easiest one. That choose any of those. What was address hash for? Address hash was for identifying the traffic and giving it a specific network card. Identify traffic, yeah, because of the according to the IP address port and some other information that it collects. Then giving it a separate stream and giving it a specific network card. Standby adapter, this is where all would not be active, we can define here, so none, all adapters active right now is none, but by default if we go for Ethernet 0, suppose Ethernet 3 I'm selecting as a standby adapter, which means what?
That would be
Active one goes down, standby takes over, right?
it will remain passive.
Yeah. Until then it remains passive. Primary team interface, it's going to be called this. Default VLAN is just called this. So main thing, switch independent, any switch connected is okay. Dynamic, it should have use all the cards, but one of them, Ethernet 3, is actually on standby now. So this is a configuration we can configure for a particular 2012 machine. If we have Hyper-V hosted here, we can configure for that. But we're just going for the easiest one where any switch is connected. It's okay. Press OK. Okay. Okay. When you create this, connection pending comes here. They must be all green if everything goes well. You will discover here that this product has some kind of you can say unreliability factor. Unreliability, so it should go green in a certain point. When you start playing with it, that's when it starts giving you unexpected results. But I would see they're all active now. I would say that we haven't put all the updates. So if there were any errors emanating, so or loopholes, or so without all the updates, yes, Windows itself is unstable. So it takes time. Yeah, but all are active with you. It always happens that mine always one of them stays the same, all others are active. Faulted, the virtual switch lacks external connectivity. So Ethernet 0, remove from the team. So we can remove from the team this one. We can disable the switch here. We can go to the properties of any network card and play with those properties. We can just check what's there and is it a team member or not. So all these features are there. But so I will upload this video. NIC teaming lab wise is not that difficult, but when it comes to understanding that, then it's a challenge. I can just uncheck that because somehow it's giving me, in my case, not connecting. In your case, all four are active, green.
Yes. No, the first one is says faulted.
So I would just uncheck that. Suppose I can uncheck that and apply that. Press OK. So NIC teaming will use all the three active ones. But just one, the last thing is, this is how it looks like in Open Network and Sharing Center. If I go to Open Network Sharing Center, first of all, you would see a blue extra network card, Exchange Server Team. This is the boss of all network cards, or through this the traffic will be flowing. If I go to any one of the three network cards which are part of the network teaming, double click that and you would see that it's all options are emptied out. They're all unchecked. Whichever network card has unchecked options means that this is part of a NIC teaming. And I don't have the first network card part of the NIC teaming, so it should have all the checked options which we normally check for any network card, right? It's not part of mine. First network card is not part of NIC teaming. Yeah, standby is the third one. 0 I just took out from the team at all. It's not a part of the team. So if all options are unchecked, this means it's not part of NIC team. And we can configure and play with the NIC teaming options from that console here. Oh, even one of those is not working now, which I took out because of this same error. So yes, after adding all the updates, I would expect that with basic configuration it should not say this. Whose your all cards are
They're working.
green?
I took out the first one.
Okay.
It was not working now. It's mine.
Yeah, this one.
Ethernet 2 is still now.
Yeah, so the virtual switch lacks external connectivity. We don't have an external switch to connect to, so it's detecting there. Otherwise, I'll have to Google this myself. So I'll update this video and upload it, and then oh yeah, it's uploaded. I'll just send it to email. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, nothing. Okay, nothing. Nick teaming creation. Okay, 3 to 1. Demos as well, but mostly it is. When you went to the video, and if I was on the board, was the sound clear still?
Yeah,
Okay. During the board, because it's
no, it's little. I think
Sometimes makes
Yeah.
difference, otherwise no.
okay.
nobody did make a difference. Actually, I remember now because it looks. It seems to be coming from
Far away.
Distance. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's like,
So really,
what?
I could sing or I could have a
Reverb or something.
We'll get you like a gangster chain. You can
yo. Oh, okay. Camera and that chain. Once you have that chain on, either police will get you or the gangsters will get you. So it's not a good neighborhood. Not this one. The whole thing. Okay. Anyway, so then we created the clones, and the clones were okay. If you miss this prep, you would get that error. It won't even let you join the 2012 domain. It's in 2012. In 2008, it does not happen. It would let you join the one even if the SID is unique, same, not unique. Okay, then we went through what? Yep.
One more time. What's the difference between OOB and audit board?
Sorry. So what's the difference between OOBE and audit mode? So what's the difference? OOBE and audit mode. First of all, one-liner. What's the difference between OOBE and audit mode?
Audit mode is used for later additions, like application or anything like that.
We can say continuous additions before we go to the final shutdown. There is actually no internet at Canip's ATM. Sir Amir, there has been a problem with the internet for the last 2 days. Okay, disconnected. So when I got desperate, always.
Hard to believe. It's a technology institute and you have no internet.
For God's sake. Come on.
We still have net software. Like
Oh yeah, we do.
Whoa.
What's the password?
I want to be clear on this actually.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like one time you did sysprep, right? And later, next day you realize that I have to add some more apps, right?
Oh.
Then you go to audit mode, right?
Then first you start the machine. Then you start the machine. You shut down the machine from sysprep.
Yes.
And then you realize, okay, I need another. So you start the machine. What you do, install that application. Suppose that application does not restart, or suppose you install 2 or 3 or 4 applications and they all do not need a restart. What do you do? Then again run sysprep and shut it down. Put it to shutdown. That's the only thing you need to do extra. But if that application requires a restart, go for audit mode
Audit mode, I think
and keep installing
means that
more.
you can keep doing changes and all that.
Yeah, keep doing changes and
Auditing
more.
whatever, software configuration changes or whatever you want to do.
Yep. Yeah, and
do
then
that, and then finally when you're
done, then go for a shutdown. So how would we tell one-liner between OOBE and audit mode? OOBE is giving you the management. Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf bhai. जी ठीक ठाक है जी वो इंटरनेट का था कुछ अच्छा वाइट चल रहा है. Oh, okay. अच्छा बेल वालों ने तो आज भी आएंगे. चलो सही है. चलो आज भी आएंगे बेल वाले. चलो सही. चलो ओके थैंक यू. There's a hope at the end of the academy. So because the router is here, I think. Yeah. So at the end. Anyway, so yeah, about this OOBE, if you have configured everything and you want to finally shut down with sysprep option, and OOBE would just give your clones a new machine installation experience. If you want to continue installing applications, you have a restart. In OOBE, when we were configuring the machines, we did not have a restart. The final one restart was, I think we had a restart in our OOBE configuration. Even we had the restart. Final thing is, if you select OOBE, it will just give you new machine experience, and it's going to be the final shutdown. Audit mode, it's not going to be a final shutdown. You restart your application, make sure the application is working, double click, check the connectivity if it requires an internet as well, and then finally turn it back to OOBE. So audit mode would be that if you keep on restarting and configuring your template, and OOBE would be, oh, I have done my configurations, all applications are working fine, I have restarted, and now I am ready to finally shut it down with sysprep. So its internal components would be unique. So it could be identified as a unique machine in the network, not as a clone. And all my applications would also run perfectly. That would be the only difference.
So we can make only 3 clones of that time. No. As many as you want. Make as many as you can. But the question is here, like
What has number 3 to do with that?
no, I think that we can make only 3.
He's confused between the sysprep 3 times.
It's a hard question.
You mentioned 3 times, you can only
No,
restart
I
3 times.
got his point. Actually, he's confused that OOBE can be shut down 3 times, not more than 3 times, right? Once
So
you make it-
three number comes from if you. So we are not shutting down. It's a restart. So it's not counted as those final 3 shutdowns, 3 syspreps.
Can you do a restart with OOBE then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do the restart with OOBE. Unless we shut down, then we don't have to do that.
No, okay. Let me ask you one
Okay,
thing.
then
Like we made a template today. We shut it down using OOBE. And tomorrow I came.
One sysprep is counted.
Once
For-
Okay, so next time I started again, I installed a few apps, right? Applications, right? And then at that time I have to go in audit mode.
Audit mode, it wouldn't be counted.
It won't be
Sysprep
counted.
won't
So
be
it doesn't
counted.
matter how many times we use this audit mode. It
Yep.
doesn't matter.
Audit mode is all about continuous.
Okay, let me just take a please don't mind.
Yeah, but he's going step by step, so everyone should.
Yeah.
So we next time, the second time when I was doing, I used the audit mode with the reboot,
Yeah.
not with the shutdown.
Yeah.
Because I want a same configuration.
So sysprep count will not be counted in audit mode. Audit mode is all about you are continuously
Okay.
doing configurations and making changes.
Okay. No, I did reboot. The machine not gonna shut down, right? Is that okay or no?
So when you do a final reboot,
No, no. And as I said to you, I
reboot
made
with
changes.
audit mode, sysprep is not counted.
No, but what about a machine? Machine will go shut down or not?
So if you reboot, then it's
No, no,
going
no.
I
to.
think what he says, in audit mode or no? There is
No, I'm talking about audit mode. I came.
Okay.
Next
Okay,
day,
okay.
I installed application.
So he means, is it going to take off the SID or not? I mean, if you do it in audit mode and we shut down the machine, the next day we restart the machine.
SID. Okay, go ahead.
No, if
Whenever you sysprep, and you can make a clone when the sysprep machine is shut down.
Shut down, yeah.
When it's reboot it, you cannot make a clone at all, right?
Exactly.
Whenever you make a clone,
That's the rebooting process.
so if you still reboot with sysprep, this means you're continuously making a configuration, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
That's
this,
rebooting.
yeah, so clone can only be made when you shut down the machine. So finally you have to shut down at certain point. So when you're talking about the three counts, that first you sysprep and shut down, it will be counted once as well. Second, it will count it second. Third, 3 times, yes. Fourth time, it will remove all the configurations inside. Remove all the configuration inside, right? So 3 times we can sysprep, but sysprep has to be counted when it is shut down.
Even in audit mode?
Not in audit mode.
Not in audit mode.
Not in audit mode. Audit mode is continuous configuration.
My, go ahead, please.
No.
No, the question, you know what, you guys didn't let me finish.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
I didn't finish my-
my question was, when I go for the audit mode after installing applications and I reboot it, the machine not going to shut down, right?
Yeah,
I
reboot.
say reboot, it's come
Yeah.
back.
So it's not counted as
Right.
1, 2, 3 and all configuration is gone.
Then later I have to do OOB.
Yeah. Then finally you have to do OOB
That will
and
be
shut it
counted.
down. Yeah, and generalize.
Well,
Oh,
that's what you
clear.
already said.
Okay, so let's go for creating clones, but yes, we have to clarify, right? So, okay, clones, no problem with clones, all depends on if you created the template perfect, your clones will be perfect. But still, the installation updates and activation did not
No,
go
but
with
one
the
question now is, what about the generalized option then? Why is that different from
generalized and ungeneralized. Generalized just means that give us the experience of a new machine installation. If you uncheck that,
Yeah.
then it won't be asking you what language you want. It won't be asking you just like in a new machine installation, it gives you the experience of new. So you have to select a language. You have to select. There are 2 options it asks only, right? During the when the new clone is created. So it will not ask those questions. It will not give you that generalized machine of experience.
And I hope this will be my last question on this topic. Yeah, I have one more. As we make a clone.
Oh, there's a recording going on. Okay.
When we get a clone,
Yeah.
right? It gets one SID.
Yeah.
And we have learned in domain, all objects, doesn't matter. The computer all have SID. And domain assigns that SID. So when we have a machine with one SID,
Mm-hmm.
and then it joins domain,
Mm-hmm.
so you're gonna get two SID or domain
So
will
per domain, that's a very good question actually. That we are saying that machines when we are creating a new clone, they are getting a new SID. Then what about when it? So
Joins.
this is a standalone machine right now. When we create a clone, and then when it joins the domain, joins our domain. What happens to that SID?
Yes. It will change.
Domain will give its own SID because domain.
So the-
When we talked about FSMO roles, I'm just reminding that we're going to go there. FSMO roles. One of the role is a domain-wide role called RID, which is assigned to just provide SIDs
yeah.
to all the machines. So yes, standalone will be given a unique ID from the process of sysprep.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with domain SID.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
When you join a domain, it will have its domain SID given to it.
So domain SID will be the final.
Final one.
Final.
Yeah. Unless we migrate it to the another domain, then another SID will be given.
So
It's a domain-wide process.
SID which was created at the time of cloning,
Yeah.
that goes.
That
back
goes.
by-
That goes. Okay. So how to install remove replica DC, secondary DNS, and secondary GC. Then we went for that. Anything here? Oh, I think I should just go ahead. No, we're coming to FSMO as well. Okay, so this all. Now, what is GC? What is replica DC? And why are we doing that? What happens? What is the process going on there? Right? So how to install? So what we did was we created two clones. We installed AD and DNS on the first one, and then we tested to install replica DC, which also included AD integrated DNS, which also included global catalog server. So this is best practice. Even if you're a small organization, as long as you have AD, domain controller installed in your company, you should have a replica for authentication purposes, right? So it does three things, which are authentication, and authentication is done by Kerberos. Okay. Authorization and auditing / accounting. So mainly Active Directory DNS is installed. This all is done only by this role. This has nothing to do with this, right?
This question I asked one student in NetSoft. I said, which feature of Active Directory deals with the authentication? He was saying, which is a domain controller? I don't know about which feature. He was flat.
Oh.
Active Directory domain services. That's the feature we deal with.
And yeah, so AD portion of this is doing all this. DNS portion is doing the other thing, which is name resolution.
Yes.
But this heavily or totally, actually, heavily depends on this. So AD heavily or totally actually depends on DNS. If DNS has a hiccup even, you will see the ripple effect across the whole forest if DNS has a little problem. And all the Microsoft or Active Directory Microsoft applications inside a domain would be totally depending on the name resolution working perfectly. But then, okay, what about Kerberos? Ticketing system. Your password never goes over the network. One 8-hour ticket is given, TGT is given. TGT is ticket granting ticket. One 8-hour pass is given, or TGT, or ticket granting ticket. Just like in Wonderland, you go and you get a full day pass. TGT is given to who? To the user. When you log in to your domain in morning, you are given a TGT for next 8 hours. For what? To do what?
To access resources.
To access domain or forest-wide resources.
And And then after 8 hours, you will not get.
It just renews. Process is renewed.
Automatically.
The user is given another 8-hour TGT, ticket granting ticket.
Automatically it gets renewed.
Yeah. So to access domain/forest wide resources. I hope it gets recorded. Or I have to get a better mic or something. So Kerberos is making that authentication happen. The main thing about Kerberos is your password never goes over the network, which means that all the sniffing tools like Wireshark or any other tools that would sniff traffic or capture the traffic over the network won't be able to capture the passwords that go to the network, because password will never leave the machine. The user which is already created in the domain will send a request, hey, can you grant me a TGT? Do you know me? So since it's the user created in the domain, so the domain controller will know and just TGT, provide that ticket granting ticket for the day, for 8 hours.
Where TGT remains and where it is lost.
So TGT remains in the system tray, in the memory of the machine. So TGT, when it's received by the user, it's in the TGT is placed in the memory.
So it doesn't use any authentication then? Or does use the MD5?
It uses, no, you're saying authentication or security?
Security.
So it's a ticketing system. I mean,
It's just
this
different
does not have to use
Okay,
encryption.
any
It's not
encryption.
encrypted at all.
Okay.
It's already a ticket. So,
Ticket.
but how does it work? I mean, user is the client wants to access a file server. So the client just asks or shows its TGT, which is a brief process. I'm just saying. Client received the TGT from the domain controller, and then it's just like a badge. Hey, I just want to access the server. There's a badge. Okay, access. So TGT is, because this is granted by the DC. So file server, which is already joined to domain, of course, it would recognize that this TGT has to come from my DC from which I am joined, because the TGT will be having that information that is coming from this DC, and this is the domain where the file server is also joined. So this day 8-hour ticket will be recognized by a file server, exchange server, whichever server you have in the domain. It will be recognized, TGT will be recognized by that, and the user will be able to access all files. Will be allowed to access files on this file server, will be allowed to open the mailbox from this exchange server, and will be allowed to access the web applications, because they are all joined to the domain. And when the user shows TGT, okay, yeah, you're our guy. Try
But
to
one
access.
thing then comes to mind, then when we are logging onto a domain, right, and the password, we enter the password and the username for the domain for our, for the user.
Yep.
So that password is also transported to the domain controller first. How does that work? I mean, this is just to access the resources, right? If you are accessing a particular server, when you are accessing the domain controller, then you have to enter the password.
Exactly. We do enter the password. The thing is that the first time during the day when we enter the password, still the password never leaves the network, never leaves the machine. Still the request for logging into this domain goes through ticketing system. Authentication is based on ticketing system, right? So the password still, once it's created and once it's logged in the first day, from the first day it's actually sending a request, hey, I am your guy, I need this TGT system. So when the request goes, the request only contains the information of the IP information, the username, and the SID of the user, and the SID which has been given by the domain controller itself. Any information of the user which the domain controller can use to know that this is our guy. It sends information instead of, hey, this is my password. It sends the information, and the domain controller recognizes that, and then the domain controller assigns a TGT at that time.
So the first time when the user is created on the domain controller, it's only then that you have to
So
enter a password, because then it sets a password and stores it into the AD.
Inside the AD, and the password is also in the machine. But the request, the talk between them is all about tickets. I'm not giving the password, or I'm not taking the password over the network, because there could be attacks. Somebody could sniff my password at any time. This is a very old system. It was not created by Microsoft, Kerberos. It was created by some other, not a vendor in a university, 2 students project. They came up with this 15 years ago. So then Microsoft and all other big vendors adopted this Kerberos process of authentication, not using password.
But it doesn't concern with the permission of the file, the actual file server you want to access it. It doesn't concern.
So it accesses the file server itself. File server itself says, whatever I have in the hard disks, just use that. And whatever the permissions are there,
Just use that, right?
Yeah.
It's
Permissions?
the permission is top of that of the TGT, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So TGT is shown after that, whatever authorization. This is authentication, right?
Yeah.
TGT is saying, hey, are you our guy? Show me that TGT. Oh, you're our guy. Okay. Now the authorization portion can be handled according to what Active Directory has been assigned for.
That portion I'm missing when you are going to access the file.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Authorization has nothing to do with TGT. TGT is, are you our guy or not? And I don't need your password. I just need to see that TGT that has been just assigned to you by the domain controller, and I would know that it is coming from my domain controller. Yeah.
And what about KDC?
So knowledge consistency checker. No, KDC.
KDC.
So it is. Oh man, I don't have internet. No, there's a KCC and there's a KDC as well. In Kerberos, there's a KDC as well. KDC keeps these tickets. KDC is the component in Active Directory that handles all the Kerberos ticketing, assigning a ticket. KCC is knowledge consistency checker, which takes care of all the branches, how we are connected to the branches, and the replication going on between the branches. What is the topology of our
within the intercity, right?
Intersite replication within the site as well, and outside the site, mainly outside the site. KCC knows, okay, which is the best path right now to replicate, to send the replication of Active Directory to the other branches, domain to the other branches.
Same thing goes to the ISTG if you go into
Yeah.
the site.
Yeah, intersite, ISTG. So KCC mainly is all about, but KDC is,
We're talking about this one. Right?
yeah, KDC is about handling the whole show for Kerberos. KDC is a component of, it's installed also in domain controller.
What is this
No,
KDC?
KD actually,
What is that?
Someone said to us, what's the one word for Active Directory? That's authentication. For authentication, we have one word, that's Kerberos. And Kerberos, what is Kerberos? One word for the Kerberos is KDC. And KDC got 2 functions, TS, ticket servicing, and ticket granting services. Right?
You know, did I show you that video of Kerberos?
No,
Because this will give you right away.
so
Exactly.
next question was, what
Yeah.
is ticket servicing?
And what is TGS?
KGC, yes, I forgot actually. I would have told you, but I forgot.
So what is
Huh? Okay.
KGC,
What is TS?
yes, that's ticket servicing.
So what
I
is
forgot
what is
actually.
TS?
Actually,
That's my question to you.
yeah, so, okay. No, Kerberos has many components,
That's
and this video should show you.
To decrypt the TGT that it gave me earlier. If it decrypts successfully, then it knows that this is how Kerberos works.
Are you able to
Hi,
listen
I'm
to
Don
them?
Jones, and as you probably know, Kerberos is the
That's the
native
worst speaker ever.
authentication protocol in Active Directory. So it's used by Windows networks everywhere, but it's surprising how few people really know how
my
the
speakers are
protocol
dead.
works. And if you're going to understand some of Active Directory's more advanced concepts, like delegation, and so forth, it's important to understand what's going on under the hood in Kerberos.
Anyone has speakers?
Let's dive in. So in any authentication
So,
situation,
key
you
distribution
really
center
have three different
or
parties
KDC,
that are
and
involved.
imagine that you're
First
listening to
is
something.
the client. Now, sometimes that's a client computer.
Yeah, it's the
More
component inside
frequently,
the
it's an
active
actual user who's sitting at that computer and trying to access resources.
Okay,
Then there's
so
the
no internet,
resource
no
that they're
sound.
trying to access.
What else
In this
can go
example,
wrong?
it'll be some files.
Oh no,
on a
don't say
file
that.
server.
The worst
There's
comes
the
then
key-
in the movies.
the key distribution center. Now, in an Active Directory network, that's an Active Directory.
Sorry?
Basically, IP address
Of?
of the machine. So, like when a machine connects to a domain,
Ticket.
ticket is given the TGT.
Is given on the full information of where the user is coming from, and what is username, what is the SID of the user, and some other internal information that Active Directory would recognize the user.
So when you talk about deployments, right? When you have a fresh machine,
Yeah.
is it based? Would it be based when it doesn't have an IP address and it doesn't have a name? Would it be based off the MAC address?
So if the machine is not joined to the domain,
Yeah, it's not.
then it has to first join to the domain, and if the machine is not joined to the domain, so how the domain user can even log in from that machine. So the machine has to be joined to the domain, user has to be a domain user, not a local machine user, and then it will be granted TGT because everything belongs to the domain controller already. So it would recognize the machine joined, the user created, and then okay, you're our guy, take this. I'll send you this video, or I think there were some external speakers, but so on the hey, there is. So let's go hip hop.
No, but you are running.
Anyway, nice try. So,
Ahmed, you are running. Now, if it's the key, then what's the ticket and the key? We're dealing with the ticket now. This says the key distribution center.
no, I want to show you the video. No, this is a very deep process. This is.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying steps, major steps of
Yeah.
this.
This KDC
Now we
was
have to
under
build-
this current. What is the very
So, guys, main purpose of Kerberos is my password should not leave. But how internally it works, what are more steps? These are the major steps given. That would just give you, at once a brief view of this is the how KDC or Kerberos works, and how in depth it works is in the video. There are many terminology words are there. But we're not using here because we just want to briefly know what is it and why we use Kerberos and why not anything else, because it saves our passwords.
But also
And it's not taken in
the exam, there's no question regarding Kerberos. I've never seen it.
Yeah, this is just for our knowledge, understanding, and it will be at least, I'm sure, in interviews it will be coming because it was asked to me in 3 interviews. Kerberos, because I was saying Active Directory, no problem, forest trust relationship, migrations, and everything I've done. Okay, what's Kerberos? I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that. Anyway, in interviews, it's not necessary, but we should know that in the background, what's going on. So, anyway, this video you should see 2 or 3 times. It's a very small video, like how much? 5
Why
minutes?
don't we only work on interview questions then?
We're covering everything.
We will do that.
We also get a job, then it's okay.
There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that it will come in the interviews as well. Since the topic came, we're talking about that.
So we're gonna get this video.
Oh, definitely. And guys, if there are problems in the Dropbox, let me know. Those who are using.
Can you upload on YouTube?
Yeah, it takes a much longer time because it's uploading everything on YouTube, then it fixes. But yes, I will. Okay, I will put it on the casual channel. Casual videos channel.
From last week's class?
Dropbox? Yeah, something happened that it's asking for username.
It's asking anytime we want.
Yeah, you're right.
Downloading like 2 gigs.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put all the videos to YouTube as well. Casual, so you could always, but it will be casual videos like we're laughing and doing things.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so we were talking about installation. We were talking about authentication portion of Active Directory. then we were talking about authorization, that once it gets authentication, whatever authorization we have given on the domain controller, that user will access that folder, but that will not access that folder comes once. So the authorization will be happening after you are authenticated, right? So what then? Auditing and accounting. This means that how many users are there. It's all about numbers and cataloging everything, what's going on. And auditing is one of those as well, where all the events taking place within the servers on the domain controller. Event viewer is the best area to see all the events for auditing that are taking place. Plus accounting, how many users, computers, servers, OUs, how many objects, SIDs, GUIDs, or whatever the components of Active Directory, how many are those? This is accounting. So Active Directory is kind of an inventory. It's a database as well, right? So why do we need replica? So we have tools of authentication. So we have AAA working here as well, because this is the replica DC. AD integrated DNS is on both this and that. So AD integrated is installed here as well as here. It is integrated with Active Directory, and we discussed it last time as well. So it could DNS traffic could be encrypted, as well as it can use all the Active Directory topology. In 4.11 we're going to go for sites and services as well, where we are going to create branches, imaginary branches actually, and we're going to connect active domain controller of a branch to the parent domain, and through the branches, how do we configure connections, give costs that, hey, use this route because this connection is better, and use this route if that route is not present between the branches. How do you replicate? So all about replication. Okay, global catalog. We can place global catalog servers strategically. First of all, it does two things. What are those?
Forest-wide search.
And
It keeps a record of its own domain and a partial record of the others, the forest objects.
so global catalog has forest wide search, and there's a service localization. Microsoft always says that do service localization, which means that if you have branches, then how do you place global catalog? So we have two servers, a domain controller, we have servers here in the Toronto branch, and Mississauga, okay, and Hamilton. So we can place these servers according to DC, DNS, GC. 3 roles here: DC, DNS, GC.
So on the same server, right?
On the root DC, I'm putting those because on root DC it's always there, right? So on third branch, DC, DNS, GC. So if global catalog server is available in all the branches as well, which Microsoft says that always make sure about the service localization. So locally critical services must be available. So that's why when you create a branch, when you're going for DC DNS, you should go for GC as well. This means that you are adding more traffic to your WAN, right? So this is a WAN connection. This is a WAN connection, wide area network, over the phone lines or through satellite if the company is richer. But so GC traffic, all the so GC is what? Okay, choice of markers. Wow, that's another So forest-wide search. What else? It creates a traffic for. So you're adding authentication traffic. You're adding AAA traffic. There is a traffic created by in the branch. Then you're adding name resolution. There's a DNS here, and DNS traffic will be going there for name resolution. And then you're creating forest-wide search. This this is another way to see the whole structure of service localization, that how much traffic you're creating, and if there are bank branches or if there are hospital branches, then third party application traffic, which could be accounting software or any banking software, which are already sending their own traffic over the WAN as well. So this from global catalog, you can just imagine that as a system administrator, you will decide that what type of connections are there, at what time the DC, DNS, GC replication should occur. Maybe there are many new things you've added here, like 100 new users. So global catalog server has to know those 100 new users or 5 new printers or any amount of new machines or servers. So global catalog has to know that partial information as well. So when do they replicate this information? Maybe during peak time, maybe during off-peak times, which are night times or midnight. So you have to remember all those things, or take care of all those things when you're adding replication, when you're adding DC, replica DC, AD integrated DNS, and global catalog server. So nowadays connections are good. So Microsoft recommends always that make these critical services available on all the branches. So a local user searching for a printer here, the user is sitting in Hamilton and is searching for a printer. That printer is available here, print 01 in Toronto branch. So the global catalog should already have that information to direct that user towards that printer, because it has all the partial information of all the Active Directory objects. So during the printer brief lab we did for printer, we knew that when we were installing printer drivers or software, we should click list in Active Directory. Then global catalog would know that, oh, that printer is part of our network. If you uncheck that list in Active Directory, then GC will not give that result to you, right? It has to be published. Activity has to know that this printer is there in the network.
I'm going to have a question.
Yeah.
As like we know that when we go for FISMO roles, right? All 5 FISMO roles are created when the domain is created.
Yeah.
Right? But if I have to study at one place, it's not recommended that we install which was structure role on the global catalog server.
We should not combine these two roles together because they are processor intensive, memory intensive, hard disk IO. Yeah.
What's the main reason?
They both require lots of hardware involvement. So memory is more used because global catalog, hundreds of user searches are coming to global catalog, and it is searching for them or redirecting that traffic to the proper network resources to access, as well as the infrastructure role, which is also doing
Upgrading SIDs.
For across the domains and trying. So there are many changes going on throughout the domains. Maybe there are 10 domains in a forest. So many administrators are making the changes. So many changes are going on by other users. Infrastructure role also keeps track of those changes. So these two roles create a lot of memory intensive tasks.
So that's fine.
Memory intensive, processing intensive tasks. Guys,
RID
1 minute, I'll just take the water.
infrastructure that updates.
Updates.
आपका गला खराब कर दिया बच गया ना भाई साहब तुम लोग मुझे लैब कराओ यार लैब मुझे नहीं आती यार लैब कराओ करो मेरे लिए यार इसमें कहा कि इंटेंसिव मेमोरी
Processor intensive, memory intensive, processing power use करते हैं, memory use करते हैं, storage use करते हैं, दोनों DC और infrastructure.
memory right
You publish a book then. Book.
Okay. So, why we are creating DC, DNS, and then replica DC, and then how it goes to the branches, and what do we need to know when these roles are in the branches, right? So it's pretty straightforward thing. We discussed it. Sorry. And then there is 390 users we created. That's just to show. I wish I could type there. I mean, right there. Type.
I mean, please don't mind in
Yeah, sure.
90 users the lab you sent me one step was missing in that I got stuck
390?
luckily Khalid sent me
Cool, man.
then when I followed his
Hero. Yeah.
I did
No.
that.
Okay, so the document was missing one step, and then there was a document with him which had full steps.
Yeah, I got that. No, but maybe
I should make the changes in the document.
for the future use
Oh, yeah.
if you keep sending like that people will say what
Yeah.
should we do?
So the document you had was. Oh, you don't remember the event, right?
No, I know I did something for him.
Okay.
I mean, it's good if I
Okay. So, any questions here till now?
Everything is
Pretty straightforward about authentication, authorization, auditing, plus replica, and if there are, and there always are branches, then there is still this thing called, sorry. Oh, it's doing bad. So remember this, service
That's called
local.
service localization when we
Yeah.
have domain everything
Make available critical services locally in the branches to everyone. Yeah? Yeah, you were saying. Go ahead.
No,
Oh, should write it down. So this is any question till now? Replica DC, authentication. Okay, to put that there. Yeah, you were saying.
why do we create a replica DC? Like in just one sentence?
So we could have two servers offering AAA or authentication, authorization, auditing, as well as name resolution and GC. There is no technical way to say it. We should have two servers offering the critical services of AAA, name resolution, and global catalog.
Load balancing?
This is load balancing, active passive, high availability of these services. Yes, we can say that.
contingency plan too
We can have 10 as well.
the contingency plan too
Contingency plan. Wow, that was contingency.
one goes down right
One goes down. Yeah. So, so if you go that way, they're both active. So it's a load balanced.
And active passive is one just on standby.
It's on standby, so it's not working.
Yeah.
What? Like you gotta.
He's writing one-liners for.
Oh.
So
Yeah. I remember when I was math, in a short like description, you explain AD integrated DNS again.
AD integrated DNS. So it's integrated with. So when you install DNS during the Active Directory installation wizard, if you uncheck that option of DNS, so this means Active Directory will get installed, but will be just sitting waiting. Hey, unless you get that DNS up, I ain't working, buddy. So the thing is, DNS Active Directory says, hey, I totally depend on this DNS, so keep it checked. So I could start name resolution right away. I could use this name resolution right away. Otherwise, if it is unchecked, so DNS will have to be separately installed. For DNS in 4.11, we're going to go deeper. There are many features there. Plus, we're going to do a lab for custom DNS. We're going to create the DNS from scratch. So there, we're going to know that what's involved. So we had forward lookup zone already created when we install Active Directory. It was already created. Reverse lookup zone, we had to create ourselves, right? So forward lookup zone is created the same way, but when we are creating forward lookup zone, then we will realize some new things that because forward lookup zone was installed automatically, we did not catch those things. So we're going to do that lab, in-depth lab from my side, some book lab as well, which initially tells you how to set up those things, right? The DNS content. But main thing is that AD integrates DNS because it totally depends on that. And second, there are two more things. DNS will use Active Directory security to send updates to each other. So Active Directory security is that Active Directory domain controllers, when they talk to each other, their communication is encrypted always. Encrypted communication. Use AD topology. Two things that DNS uses. What do you mean by use AD topology? So this is the AD topology that actually it's going to build up more when we put the Active Directory sites and services in order. So the thing is that Active Directory domain controllers are connected with each other when we configure Active Directory sites and services. So DNS uses that same procedure link to update its, since we installed DC DNS here as well, so each DNS here and here will be actually integrated with Active Directory. So when Active Directory has that topology built by us, DNS will use that topology, and since Active Directory communication is all encrypted, so DNS communication will all be encrypted too. And DNS needs security. Nowadays, hackers would like to have one company's secrets hacked and then sell to another company. Make money any way they want, right? So any company, they would always want to hack anything. Get information, as long as the guy is rich. Okay. Anyway, so and then sell it to the rival. So your DNS communication, your everything should be secure, and whatever security standards are there by the vendor, implement those security standards. Yeah.
In a forest, it is recommended to have one global catalog server to curtail the overhead traffic.
You're saying in a forest there should be minimum one? Minimum.
Minimum one.
Yeah, it is a must thing. So there is no option, no choice there when you're installing the first root DC. The GC option is grayed out. Don't uncheck that. Yeah.
It should be enabled there, right?
It must be enabled there. Yeah.
So
one GC is a minimum requirement. Yeah. For forest.
Not for the domain, right? Not domain.
It's a forest-wide search. It's a.
So that's why you have to.
It is a must thing if you want to make a search, and search is the main thing that whenever you have a database or inventory, you do search. And yep. So yes, DNS just uses these two features, although there are many more. And DNS has its own lengthy security procedures that it implements, or we can implement. They are there. Okay. So yeah. So DNS just use these two. Any other questions regarding this?
So DNS in this 410, we are only required to learn the basics of DNS.
This is a base. 410 is about all about basics. Yeah.
And then next
411
it will be more
DNS in depth.
detailed.
411. In 412, all the high availability disaster recovery, the serious stuff, the most advanced stuff. If it crashes. So before that, we need to know the inside out of everything. So yes, how to create records, the one what we discussed last week, that's the objective of 410 only. 411 you will see too much of DNS.
So this is installing and configuring, and then 411
Configuring and resource records, what is forward local zone, reverse local zone, that's it. So, okay, any other question? Okay, so let's go ahead with, that was more careful. Did I take a picture of that?
No, you didn't.
I was going to take that, and then there was a question coming, so I did not. Okay, oh, wrong way. Okay, automation of account creation from PowerShell, we did that. Then there were groups and organization. Groups, yeah, we did not do, well, there's not much you will discover now, but yeah. And organizational unit we did create in the process of doing labs. We created groups, we created organizational units. Okay, so okay, you know, in smart boards, this is gone with a touch, but they're expensive. So groups were and organizational unit, I made it. Okay, cool. And so since they are kind of, you know, interlinked, although it's a major topic, group policies. So groups, there are two types. Security and distribution. Hey, you already know that, man.
He's good.
He's good.
Good. Yeah, labs got. Oh yeah, he's doing that. He keeps saying that.
Labs are written available, but anyway, I'm sure you're gonna give more time now for as well. So security distribution, very, very simple, major categories, two categories. Let's just go there as well. So I'm just going to open that. Then it gets a little messy after that.
Security deals with permission and restrictions, and distribution deals with mostly with emails.
Okay, so let's go to now organizational unit. We have discussed about groups. And
How do you know that?
how do you know that, man?
And also global security.
Did you like ask him to study all this and then just?
Yeah, you were saying. So
Everyone need a break.
Yes, we need break.
break. Okay.
5 extra minutes, yes, 25.
Hey, give 5 extra minutes. Yeah, 12 sharp.
Whoa.
We run
5 extra minutes.
12, 10.
to take a break. Huh? To continue studying or to take a break? Or
I forgot.
okay.
God.
Okay, where's the hard? Okay. Anyway, so this is very simple and quick. If I just create this new and group, the only interface we are interested in and the only interface that is available there is this. So there are security group for.
How did you create it?
It's a lab now.
Hey, you just told me.
How did you go there? Okay, right click, right click, right click.
ADUC and
Right click, okay. New. Group.
so okay. Security for giving and taking access. Very simple words. Giving and taking away. Distribution is all about email groups. We can have different types of groups as long as requires what? requires a messaging solution, which is yeah, we're going ahead with that. So I'm gonna give you the procedure for that.
Oh, the group policy?
No, that's different. This is different. So requires a messaging solution, for example, Exchange server, or an email solution, or a messaging solution. So distribution is available only when you have messaging solution. In our case, we don't have one, so distribution won't work. But we have security groups. The only thing about this is we go for if we have 2,000 users here. Suppose they are from different departments, accounts, management, security departments. So, wow, that yawn was so nice. Security makes me sleepy. So, the only thing is you would create groups for accounts department, ACC01, ACC02, and ACC executives. Yeah, we can say see it that way as well. Okay, so management, any types of groups there. So they're all created as security groups. Management, manage 01, 02, 03, secretary or executives or manage documents. There's a group about just document sharing, manage doc. So any purpose, you create a security group. These are security groups, and I created those manage doc as well. And same for department. The main thing is then you just add out of, so there are a total of 2,000 users here. You can add 60 users according to whatever the purpose is. 100 users here, and executives would be 10 users. Secretary and directors and managers. So we create security groups. When we create groups, we can add users to that. We can add other groups to the security group. So what we can do is, what do we do? Add users. The tasks we can do, add other security groups. And give access, then normal daily tasks are give access to different network assets, domain assets. So for example, if I quickly create a group and want to give access, so scenario would be that this is our PC here. This server 2 is our file server. You want account department AC001 to have access to some of the folders, shared folders here. Shared folders created. So ACC shared folder. So there's a shared folder created called ACC shared folder. Now you don't want management department users to access this folder because it's accounts department shared folder, and you don't want security department or any other department. So there are two ways to give access to the 60 users of this accounts department who are member of the security group called ACC01. Either you add one by one all the users to the security shared permissions. I'm going to do that now. Or you have already created that group and 60 users are member of this group, you can only just add this group. Just add ACC01 to the shared permissions of access shared folder on the file server, and all the 60 users will have access, and you give full control. Give full control access to this on this access shared for access on shared permission. I'm going to do this lab quickly. Permissions. So give full control access on the shared folder to this accounts department group. So all 60 users will have full control permission on this, which means what? They can they can do what on this folder? They can create a document. Wow, that was cool. Delete.
He's really hungry.
Modify.
That's another.
Still, I cannot figure out. How do you make that sound? Okay. No, that's not a stomach sound. I know that. Create, delete, modify. These are the main categories, but there are a long list of things that full control can do. So we should be careful about giving full control. And best practice is best practice is what? Remove first the everyone group. Then add the accounts group, and all 60 users will have full control on this account shared folder. So we give access for security groups to different network resources. Same is the scenario I can just create for printer. So this is print 01, and you can just in the permissions area of the printer. This is in the accounts department premises. This printer is placed. It's a network printer, and so the same ACC01 can be added, and all other groups removed from permissions. So only 60 users from account security group will be able to print on this printer, will be able to access the shared folder since you give full control access here. This is the main purpose or basic purpose, that you add or remove large number of users, but because you have created a security group and added those users in the first place. So this request also comes from the department. Say, can you create a group for us, and then add only these guys, not all the people from our department. So normally we don't do that automatically. We can do that too, but normally the request comes from those departments, that can you create these and just make these guys member.
So the question is, like, when we group them together, right? And they were all part of other groups. So still they will be available. They will be able to access the resources in those.
So now the permissions discussion comes. That yeah.
You can explain.
So the permissions also matters here. Then we talked about NTFS permissions and shared permissions. This is another topic that we're going to continue. Let's give everyone a break. So it's still there. We're going to continue from here. We're going to create some things there and try to know the purpose. Okay, resuming our discussion about, because in the video it's not going to appear the way we are doing it. we're discussing about groups, and then we're going to go for organizational units, then we're going to go for, well, I just wrote here group policies because they kind of integrate and are, okay, so we were discussing about groups, and then we, let me go there to this machine and log in. We were talking about the screen that is open to create a new group. There are the scopes. Types, we know that one is security, which gives access. Distribution is used for emails only, but we must have that email solution. Second thing, group scope, domain local, global, universal. So domain local, so normally we have two questions when we create a group. Who can be a member of any of the scope group here, domain local, global, or universal, and what resources they can access, right? So domain local, who can be a member? Local users can be members,
Yes.
as well as we can add groups from other domains and trees within the forest as well. Even if we have forest trust between two forests, the universal group or global group created there can be added as to the domain local group to access local resources
As a member of the group.
as a member of that. But domain local gives access to what? So what resources they can access? First question is answered, who can be a member. Second question about domain local is what resources they can access? Only local domain resources. Whatever printer servers and other web application servers are locally available in the domain can be accessed. Global group. First question, who can be a member? Can have members from any domain tree in a forest, can provide, so who can be the member? Across the forest, anyone. Anyone who? Servers? Printers? Users. So users and other groups can be a member of the global group, but global group can give access. Then what resources they can access? Any resources across the forest. So any, yeah.
Can you give an example of like a domain local, global, universal? Like
Yeah.
One example.
So one example would be, okay, now it's getting messier. This is the tor.local domain. This is a branch. The triangle is always a branch, right? Users from, so domain local, first of all, let me just start creating that. So there are local users. So tor.local users who want access to a local file server. So we can create a, normally we create domain a global group for that too. I mean, who cares? Unless you have standards for the company, oh, these domain users should be restricted to just this domain and don't create domain local for that, or create domain local for that. If you have company standards, otherwise we, in our company, create a group, we just go for global group. Because I'm sure in future they're going to ask, can you give access to that other domain, because we have like a huge amount of branches. So can you give access to that? Can you give access? So we start with global group always. Unless we have a company standard that no, go for domain local first. But local users want access to a local file server. So we create a domain local group. We add this domain local group to the shared folder of local file server. So let me do that now. How to add a group to the shared folder created in a file server for that group. I'll quickly create, if you are following easily. Yeah.
One question. What
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the universal program?
Universal group can have, who can be a member? Anyone can be a member across the forest and everything. And it also gives resource access to everyone, but it is also used for distribution as well. Distribution list, when you create, it's normally universal group
So
distribution
one thing
list.
is common between all the three groups, that anybody can be a member, any group can be a member.
It's the scope where it, what is the implementation scope of that, but membership, yes, anyone can be a member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can only distribute using universal?
We can have, mostly it's universal, but global group can also be, global security group can also be a mailbox, but normally it's universal is enabled when you go for distribution. So if I click distribution here and click this universal, then if there's a messaging solution here, then it would convert it to mailbox. So universal is used mainly for, but it's also used for security access across the forest. Anyone can be a member, and anywhere it can be given access across the forest and inter-forest as well. So let me just create one and show you. So scenario is server 1 has a global group called ACC01, and it's a security group, and it's a security global, which is by default selected. Press OK. The ACC01 group is created. Now, according to our scenario in the top, there is a file server. In our case, it will be server 2. I'm going to create a shared folder there because I need to give access of domain local group for now, which is global. So I'm going to change that security group. First, we will access by global. Then I'll change that to scope to, change that scope to a domain local. Then I'll try to access that. So first, I will make it global security, and then I will try to make it domain local, right? So it's you can see that it's already grayed out.
You did the
But
right click, right?
no, I double clicked it. So I'm going for server 2 and going to create a shared folder there. Then I'm going to access, give access to this accounts group to the shared folder of server 2.
So this is a domain local group, right? ACC01 is a domain local group.
It's a global group.
Global group.
Yep.
Okay.
So the scenario is just this: server 1 and server 2. So there will be a shared folder. Actually, this has been written here. So server 1, server 2, I'll just put it here. Server 01, server 02. So this shared folder, I'm just going to create by this name and give access to ACC01 global group. So I'm just going to create ACC shared folder. So, and then let me know if during the process. So I've already created ACC01. Server 2, let's go there, create a server 2 administration. So I'm just going to log in from the administrator. My domain dot local backslash.
Same domain, right?
Yep. Okay.
Sometimes if she gets some time, right?
Yep.
If there are some distance, sometimes we cannot log in. Access is denied.
So what did I do? No. The thing is that what's the error coming?
No, I'm saying
You-
you have a chance.
Yeah, sure.
So 5 minutes on this period.
It depends on the error. I can give you right away that why it's not doing. So suppose that error was coming to me now, which is not coming
A
now.
lot of times it says password is invalid or something. Even though we know it's right, the right password.
Whatever.
So
So okay, there are currently no logon servers available to service the logon request.
not connected.
So I will just check this, my network card settings. One is on VMnet 12. Are we on the same network or not? So yeah, VMnet 12, and second thing I would just do is, I will have to do is just, you know, join disjoin, which will take, while this is joining we can talk about other stuff as well. By DHCP, okay, so I'll just quickly turn it back to, oh yeah, last week we were doing the DHCP lab. So 2 and then yeah, I think he's here. Oh, no. There's a hope. There's always a hope, you know.
By 2 o'clock after 2 o'clock.
He should have been here. He was saying that yesterday he was on phone with Bell support and they did not ring a bell. They did not give us support. It was just bells. All right. Tears of joy. Finally, I've joined the domain. Okay, so this group, I'm just going to create a shared folder here on server 2, and is it being recorded? Okay, and that's the scenario. While I'm creating that, I'm just going to create one new organizational unit for the next topic, and I'm going to give a departmental name to that, security DEPT OU. Well, it is OU, so press OK, and I have a security department OU created here where I can implement group policies. For now, I'm just gonna go back to accounts, and this dude must have come back. Okay, so we are ready now. Admin / administrator. Alright, so 164 days left, and who's counting? Anyway. So yellow folder here, and go to C drive, create a new folder called account shared folder, is CC shared folder, and then right click, share with. Let me know if you zoned out in the middle, like huh? So access is only given to, by default, access is given to just administrator and administrators, but I want to give access to the newly created global group called, that's OU. So security group was ACC01. Welcome back to planet. Okay. My domain, no, it's not domain. Domain / if I do this, does it recognize that? Alright, so this is on the other server, and it's ACC01 group, and I don't have a member, so this shared folder here, if I go to the shared folder permissions now, well, I could have, so sharing permission here, and advanced share, first go to just share, it's there, wow, it rhymes, okay, and then permissions here in advanced sharing. So everyone is there, administrator is there, so I added that dude, and it's not showing in shared permissions. Let me check.
Why do we do advanced and, what's the difference?
Share is just quick permissions. Just quick permission, but I think it
should not be using the share, you won't be using advanced sharing, because
yeah, as an administrator I can use all, but I think I should share it with user that has no permissions. But anyway, I'll just go and check this, remove everyone, add and remove administrators, add ACC01, check name, does it select? Oh, it's not 01, it's wrong spelling. Are you in the back able to see those, or you want a magnifying glass? Well, now you have French fries.
What, carrot?
I'll pass. I mean, okay. So ACC is added here with full control. So giving full control, we can deny it too, and the whole thing, the whole group will have deny permission on that. So if any user of this group is a member of another group, ACC02, and if that group is added as well, so first of all, one thing, how to add. This is shared permissions. I added, I can give full control and deny, right? So suppose I denied AC01. I am going to quickly create, now I'm changing the scenario right away. I'm creating a AC02 now, and I'm going to add AC02 with full control here, right? So there's a, and let me just show you one thing here. ACC01, there is no member here. Do I have users here? Exchange, I don't even have this. So I'm just going to quickly create two users. The scenario is have one user added to a group which has deny, have the other user added to a group which has full control. So which will be implemented for that user? One is deny, and we're talking about just shared permissions here, right? So user one, if I go to this scenario, this is the most common scenario and favorite exam questions as well. I don't know what the interview, if they bother with permissions. There's so much new technology here. Finish, user 1 and user 2. So the scenario is add user 1 to account 01, add user 2 to account 02, which I'm going to create now. Give account 01 full access or deny access, and give account 002 full access, right? Finito, user 2 created, there is one account 001 created and user 1 02 created. So I'll just quickly create a group called ACC02. ACC01, ACC02. Okay, global security. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all. I was seeing there must be something wrong here. Okay, press OK 2. So I'll just add 01, right click 01, add to a group, ACC01. ACC0, check name, and yep, there it is. So user 1 is a member of AC01, user 2 will be a member of add to a group, ACC02. Just go directly, underline, this means detected. Press OK, add it to the group. Let's just double check. ACC01 has a member called user1 and ACC02 has a member called user2. Everyone's following?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. So ACC01 added as denied. Now what am I doing? What else I have to do? AC01 has denied permission and user 1 is a member of ACC01. Now user 2 is a member of ACC02. I'm going to make user 2 a member of ACC01 as well. Why? In production environment, one user is a part of many groups, normally for various reasons, that it's same department, some tasks are required by one guy, some other tasks are also given to that same guy, right? So now I'm giving user 2 access, adding to a group AC01 which has denied permission in the same folder that AC02 has full control permission. I have to give that to till now. 1. So I'm adding user 2. So now ACC01 has user 1 and user 2. User 2 is a member of AC01 which has denied permission, and user 2 is a member of ACC02 which is having, which I will give now full control, right? So this means user 2 should have what? We're gonna just discover now. So on the server 2, I'm just adding user ACC02 as well. So on the file server here, ACC02 has full control, and ACC01 has deny, full deny. So full control, full deny, full control, and user 2 is a member of both groups. Scenario is clear? You are setting it.
It's clear, but the question is, the global we just discussed is on domain level, right? From one domain to another domain.
No, I'm just doing local domain because I don't have a second domain.
That means then we are the scope we are doing, that's a domain level.
It can be domain local as well, but I'm using global.
But the question is, the same process is for global, right?
Yeah.
Nothing different.
Yeah.
Only we have to change the
Because
domain name.
because we are
Where we will
still in the
change
same domain.
Yeah, so, but the question is where we will change the domain name.
Where we will change the domain. If we have a new domain, yes, that's a good question. And in 4.11, we are creating child domains, and we're going to be changing domains. Where do we change? I can show you now, but there's an error here. You are setting a deny permission entry. Deny entries take precedence over allow entries. This means that if a user is a member of two groups, okay, our result we were about to see, they are already saying, hey, you have a user with member of two groups, one that is allowed a permission and another that is denied the same permission. The user is denied that permission. Do you want to continue? We got our answer anyway. So what does it tell us? Okay, about that question, if I click add and I go to locations, if we had two domains, it would show here. Child domain, we're going to create a child domain, then I'm going to show you that it shows even a new forest. I will show here.
So next, right?
Yeah, in 4.11 we're going to create new forest trust and child domain. So so this means that if there is a deny and so most restrictive applies when it comes to shared permissions. Most restrictive. What does that mean? Most restrictive of the permissions apply. Meaning,
if it's read and it's write,
which is more restrictive?
Read will apply.
Read is exactly. So read and write. So most restrictive. You know what?
Or read and change.
So I was asking again that do you get that? So again, so user one. So explain the scenario first.
Okay, so right now he's added to both groups, and both have different permissions.
Completely opposite permissions.
So one area is like allowed access, the other one is not. So it's like I'm breaking one, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
So he just basically said that it's not going to allow it.
Yeah.
So it's going to say, so he gave an example that if it's read and write, then it will take the most restrictive basically.
So
What is the name of most restrictive?
No, he got confused in deny, allow, and read and write.
most restrictive means what? What is restrictive? The bad guy.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And and least restrictive is good guy. Yeah. So least restrictive is good guy, and most restrictive is bad guy. I'm trying to suppress that laughter that is emerging. Like ah. No. Okay. 1 minute. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's we need to explain. So this is a wording that Microsoft uses. Most restrictive. So there's a read permission and there's a write permission. There's a read permission, there's a modify permission, and there's a full control. Okay, full and deny. So which one is most restrictive between read and write? Write means I'm able to read as well as write, because once I read, I mean I can see, then I can write anything or make changes. Write means making changes, right? So first you will have a read permission already, and then you will be making changes or write something to it or
So
make
more restricted, so it's gonna be read.
exactly.
Yeah.
Read and modify.
We can't do a lot of things. That's gonna be read. Yeah.
Exactly. And deny would be the bad guy and full. So yeah, deny and full control. The most restrictive would be full control. Gotcha.
No. It's the other way around, because full control is like everything. So then
Most restrictive would be full control. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought second time I'll also get you.
Exactly.
Okay, you got it. So anyway, Most restrictive, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, what's happening here? Full deny, full control. Which one is most restrictive? Most restrictive.
Most restrictive.
Restrictive.
It's going to be.
It's like,
deny.
see my face.
Deny.
Okay.
But now another question actually. You wrote here NTFS permissions and shared permissions. So now if the user or a group has an NTFS permission which is full control.
Yeah. So what is the difference between shared permission and NTFS permissions? Or where are those NTFS permissions? If I press OK here, there are two types here for the same folder. If I click close, so if I right click again that shared folder, there are two types here: sharing and security. Sharing and security. We just talked about sharing, right? Now security permissions can be working alongside with shared permissions as well. Suppose so this is that has become very messy. So any questions here? I'll just create that scenario again. Oh, we were still talking about this topic, so I'm just going to and we're still over that topic too, and we're talking about that too. So it remains here. Okay. Anyway, so this is what we're talking about right now.
There was one here actually.
One board we have. Yeah, दूसरे class में खाना है.
Okay. You were joking, right? Okay. So the thing is that the shared permissions, most restrictive, so good luck right there, right? So, and there it is, this one is done. Requires messaging solution. We know that. So, there are shared permissions and NTFS, which is security. So sharing tab, there's a sharing tab and there's a security tab. Which represents what? Sharing is the shared permissions which Microsoft will mention in the exams. And these are NTFS permissions which we can control from the tab called security. So so this folder, which folder? The folder called ACC shared folder. We can have two types of permissions on the same folder called ACC shared folder, which I just created now, and I put shared permissions. There were two groups there, and one group had total restrictive permissions and the other group had total full control. So the most restrictive applied there, right? So ACC 01 and ACC 02, and this is, so now same folder we can mess or change the security permissions of the same group whose shared permissions were. So shared permissions are effective for that traffic which is coming over the network. We discussed that before, that shared permissions are put for if you're accessing a machine from over the network, and NTFS permission for local security. But if I start messing up with this as well, so same folder already has this permission, account 01, account 02. One is deny, one is full control. Now I go for security permission and I can start removing. So ACC 01 is added when I added this, close. I did this first, right? Share with specific people, and ACC 01 was here. Then I went to advanced sharing and tried to look there if that folder is there, but I could not find that there, right? So ACC 01 is here. When I added it through that first way, when I added it through this way, it added that ACC 01 as a local NTFS permissions in the NTFS area, in the security area it added that, right? That's why we could not find it in the shared permission.
So the first option adds it
to the security permissions. Yeah. So if this, on the sharing permission, we know that ACC01 has full deny permission. Anyone member of ACC01 cannot have permission. So if I go to security and ACC, let's do this. Give shared permission as full control, and let's deny that same group on NTFS permissions or local permissions as full deny, right? So if I go here, this account, I'm ACC01, I'm removing now. What new scenario is now, this guy, whoever is a member of ACC02 has full control on this folder according to shared permission. But now I'm becoming more, nastier. ACC02 has full control share permission, but I'm going to go to security permissions, which is the local NTFS permissions, and I'm going to add, first of all, I'm going to remove the AC01 and remove administrators and click add ACC02 same group, which has full control. I want to give it full deny local NTFS permissions, full deny. So this group, if the members of ACC02 access from over the network, they are supposed to have full control. But local permission of that same folder says no. If there's any member coming for ACC02, I am full deny to those. So local permission says full deny, shared permission says full control. Over the network, if they access, they should have a control. So let's check. I have full deny for local permissions. Apply. Now what does it say? You are setting a deny permissions entry. Deny entries take precedence over allow entries. This means that if a user is a member of two groups, same thing. So most restrictive applies when you mess with local security policies, or when you're messing with or changing the over the network security policies. If there is a most restrictive for the same person who has least restrictive. What is least restrictive? Which is better permissions, the good guy. Yeah, full code. Least. This is a competition between least and most. Least restrictive means having full permissions or better permissions. Most restrictive means the worst permissions. Like so, least restrictive, good guy. Most bad guy, bad.
New terminology.
Yeah, this is totally new. This at once goes down to easy. So least restrictive means, so the same thing. If one user has two types of access, one group has full control and the other group has, the user is a member of that group and denied, so it will be denied. Also, if the user is a member of the same group AC02 over the shared permission, so let me just show you that over the here. So I'm telling members of ACC02, hey guys, if you are accessing from over the network my machine, I'm giving you full control. And they said, oh, thank you very much. Then they all go away and I go to my machine and I do this and I go to security permission, add that same group and deny them the whole permission. Oh, I did not click apply. Same group, and now over the, so what happens here? Same group does not have permission, ACC02 check name and full deny here, right? Same group, so they don't know now. So they say, hey, we don't have access to that. So I tell them, hey, look here, man, sharing permission. Look, I'm an angel. Look there, this circle there up on my head. See, I show them always, look at this. But what they fail to look is that on the security side, I've added the same group with full deny. So this means if the local permissions are restrictive or shared permissions are restrictive, the most restrictive apply. But this is for the same resource.
So
whenever there is a conflict, most restrictive applies.
So what's going to happen? Like, you know how you
said globally, or like if I access it from like somewhere else, I can get access to it, but locally I won't be able to. So give me an example.
Yeah. So now that's how does it fit to the global?
The whole example.
Yeah. So now how does it fit? Now I'll go back from where we started the whole discussion. That two servers here, and there is this is server 1, 02. We created a global security group, ACC 01. As far as the access is concerned, as far as the scope of the group is concerned, members of ACC 01, because they are a global group 01, can access throughout the forest. That was one thing, how far they can go throughout the forest. Members of global group can access, you can add to any server in any domain across the forest. But once you added, so then what permissions are you giving them? That's a separate topic. What permissions you give them? So we started with global group, domain local group, universal group. How far they can go. But then we started talking about once you add them, what kind of permissions you're giving them. So then we discovered that, okay, if the same group, if the user of ACC01 and ACC02, there is one user who is member of both groups, user 02 was a member of both groups. Once the global group have access to that server, suppose across the domain, so access is clear. Yeah, they can access across the forest. But once they have access, and if the user is a member of both groups, and one has deny and one has allow, so who will win? So the rule of the thumb is most restrictive will win. For the same user, most restrictive. So then we talked about a conflict. First of all, what is the access? So it was group scope. Then once you are added, how the permissions work for that person, if that person is a member of two groups, one group having restrictive permissions, one having least restrictive permissions. So these are separate topics actually, which got,
I mean, you just went through the forest for global security, right?
And universal as well.
Yeah, that was my question.
And universal as well.
Universal,
but universal is also used for messaging.
Okay. But this is my
to convert mailbox.
If global is also on a forest wide and universal is also on a forest wide, user from any domain and can get access forest wide anywhere. That those are universal group.
Yeah.
And the global, this is my understanding, right?
Yeah.
The global group people, the user from one domain can get access to the other domain, right? But as you said, they can get, no doubt they can get access through the forest to any domain. But now the question arises, how many domains they can get access? If they can get access to all the domains, then whether universal, but then how will we differentiate between the global and universal?
Now I'm going to create a quick table for that, a small table that would just clarify everything. So domain local, who can be a member of domain local?
Everybody.
Everyone. So the question is this, and everyone. Who can be a member of global? Who can be a member of, but here everyone has a different meaning here. Universal. So when it comes to global, across the forest, everyone can be a member, users. Two people are about to, it's like Titanic. After 2 hours, it's going to be totally down. You're sinking right now. So everyone, who can be a member? Global, universal. Everyone in this forest.
When you say everyone, you are talking on domain level?
Domain and tree. No, everyone in the forest. in the forest.
Everyone.
All domain and
Then there's a confusion.
yeah. What's the confusion?
Domain local says the user of one domain, like we have my domain.local. The user of my domain.local can get access to the resources in the domain my domain.local. That's what domain local.
So who can be a member?
Anybody
One
can
domain. No.
Anyone can be a member.
Anyone-
Where is the difference here? Where is the difference? So if I say anyone can be a member of this, where is the difference between domain local and global then? What is the difference
resources
between
that they can access.
This is what I'm saying.
what? So that's
Resources.
No, you know what? I explain you. Right?
no. Now first listen to me, and then on question. So final table, because this topic has taken too long. Who can be a member? Everyone of domain local. Everyone. Everyone means what?
Users of my domain.local.
Okay, let me explain that too.
Just take one domain name, right?
Users of local domain
Exactly.
As well as
And the resources in the same domain.
and who can be a member? I'm still explaining that, right? So and groups
some other domain.
from across the forest. Groups from across the forest can be a member of domain local as well.
No, you're right.
So this is what I'm saying. That's now the second question is who can be member, and then what resources they access. Second question, right? So let me just clear that area and this area. So what resources they can access? So domain local only local domain resources. Global all resources across the forest. Universal this forest and other in forest trust. All resources across the forest. So I would say all resources across the domain and trees, which is forest. Microsoft says domain trees. So Universal can have members from this forest. The main thing here, they can have members from this forest and the forest trust related other forests, as well as they can access those, give access of those to those members to other forests as well. Global is everyone in this forest can be a member of global group, and then they have access. They can get access to all the resources across the forest, which is domains and trees. And domain local members can be all the groups and local users and all the groups from other domains, but access will be given only locally, local resources of this domain. So can one guy from this line and one guy from this row will be telling me this. Not Khalid. Just say this, that's all.
Yeah.
And Qasim would be saying that too. Yeah.
I have domain local provides access to local resources, can have all other group types as members. Anyone can be a member.
You can see here as well. Yeah.
Only local domain resources.
Read this script.
Domain local, only local domain resources. Global,
Who can be a member?
yeah.
Domain local. Who can be a member?
Only, no, everyone can be a member for domain local.
Local users and groups from other domains can be a member of domain local. Local users and other groups, right?
Yeah.
Then global. And
global,
then what are the resources? So who can be a member? What resources they access? They access only local domain resources for domain local.
okay.
So who can be a member of domain local group?
Everyone,
And they can access resources.
only, no, all across the main,
Local domain resources.
everything domain is global.
No, we're doing domain local. Yep, thanks. Yeah.
And then, who can be a member for global, everyone? Resources, all, resources across the domain tree. And then for universal, everyone in this
In this forest
forest and others.
and
This forest,
what resources they access?
you can access this forest and the other forest.
Resources as well. Yes, coming to, I think I should come to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls is over there.
Huh?
Yes.
Wherever you pointed. Yeah.
Okay.
Who can be member? Domain local?
Everyone. So are we just repeating what Shrew just said?
You can add something as well. You can add something as well about Niagara.
So
I
for
mean,
domain local, everyone can be a member, and the resources are only domain local domain resources. For global, everyone can be a member, and resources are across the domain as slash trees, and universal, everyone resources are forest and other
everyone in this forest and
forest and other
forest. Oh.
other forest. And the forest and other than the forest.
They can access resources, other forests and this forest, right? Organizational units, yes! No, but this is also coming in group policies now. And it's going to be very simple. But group policy itself is a very complicated topic. When it comes down to this kind of questioning, yes, it is. But interesting as well, and we have tomorrow as well. Tomorrow never comes. No, tomorrow will come.
Actually, these two were resources there.
Oh, okay.
You wrote these resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
there.
So there are two questions. We can just take a picture of that and I'll just put it there. Oh, there's a misspell. First, let's fill up the board. If we have organizational unit, what happens? We have groups which can give and take access. We can put permissions on groups and members of groups. And the groups can be used for distribution. What about organizational units? So, yeah.
Distribution, right? That's it for the distribution?
Distribution is, if we have Exchange server, then we can click distribution of that group. Then we can click that option. Oh, I have to log in.
Same thing, we have to change it, right?
We just have to,
Change it.
so double click there. Suppose we have an Exchange server here.
Okay.
Distribution, just change it to distribution, right?
In case of exchange server,
Yeah. If we have Exchange server here, yeah, you're saying?
this, whatever you are doing right now, this we have to do exchange server?
No. So Exchange 2010, yes, we can do it on Exchange server in Exchange 2010 version. Exchange 2003, it could be done in the Active Directory as well as Exchange. So directly in Exchange server, you can start creating group. That group will be created where? Inside Active Directory, and you will see the distribution automatically enabled there because Exchange server created that. If we create that, then we have the option of making security or distribution. When you create this same group in Exchange server, it will be created automatically a distribution group. Distribution is all about emails.
One last question on
Yeah,
this.
sure.
Have everything, whatever we create and expedite, let's get SI.
That gets set definitely.
So these groups, security and distribution also get.
Security group, this is an object. Every object gets SID.
SI. So both are getting SI.
Both who? The user,
Security and distribution group.
Yeah. So distribution group.
Okay. You know what? Maybe you confirm it. I studied the distribution group does not have SID.
So let me.
But my question was, why it does not have SID?
ACC01. It was created as a security group, right? And then it can be converted back into a distribution group as well. So when it's created a security group, it gets an SSID. Ah, SID.
Please do not mind just
Yeah. Sure.
I want to know that.
Okay, so you know that distribution groups, when created in Exchange, does not have SSID. SSID, just take it like that. Yeah. And when they are security group, they are having SID. That's what you learned, right?
I forgot the reason right now.
Okay, so let's check that. If there was Google, I would just check now. But we have internet on cell phone as well. You can check on cell phone also. No, even right now we can clarify that. Okay, so this is done. Let's go for group policies and organizational units. Organizational units are created for
Better management, for better organization.
the difference between groups and organizational unit. Number one.
Organizational units are the containers where the objects are grouped logically.
Where objects are grouped logically. Okay.
That's organizational units.
Difference between groups and organizational unit.
And the group, so as the word says, if you combine two or more people, that makes a group.
Groups is
Not
basically
logical.
What's the difference?
Group is not logical. Group is also logical.
Logical, but they are based on the security and distribution.
no.
Right?
And what about OU? They're both this or what?
They are not based on this security and this distribution.
So-
they are based on their roles.
So the tasks between groups and distribution group, organizational units. Organizational unit. So if we need to, so definitely there's a difference between them. That's why they are separately created. So what we now know is that it gives access to users. Organizational units to organize. What can be added to the organizational unit?
Any group?
Groups can be added to organizational units. Users can be added to the organizational unit. Computers, printers. What else? Child OUs. In groups, we can add other groups. Users.
Can you get users to OUs where you are?
Can you add computers to groups or not?
Can we add computers to the groups?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
You can do
They are actually the other part of that.
What does it mean by adding a computer?
look for
Just the machine.
You are working on the
Wow. So,
whole story is going around what?
guys, if
I can trust the guy with two hats right now.
can we add computers to the group?
Yes, we can.
Object types, computers, and press OK, and then server. Check name, server 1. A computer is added to a group as well. Right? Okay. Groups, users. Can we add printers to the group?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Can you add OU to the group?
Why is it?
Can we add a OU to the group?
Yes.
OU is
I have a group open right now. Add. And I have a OU called security, right? Secure. Okay. Users, computers, service accounts, groups, and other objects. So, can we add organizational unit to a group?
He said yes.
But you can add a group per organizational unit.
Yes, I think so.
You can't.
But we can we add, yeah, is it the other way around?
No, you can add a group to an OU, but not an OU to a group.
Is that correct?
I think so.
When we can add users to the OU, we can add groups to the OU as well. I have an OU here right now, but first thing, we can add computers and users to a group, but we cannot add an OU to a group, right? Second thing.
I got that.
So this is OU. Now new, well, I can just drag a group, right? So this is a group, drag to moving objects and your existing, whatever. It just says that if you have OU with different policies, those policies will be implemented right away. So group can be added, new, and then computer can be added, contact an inet.org person from another LDAP of non-Microsoft LDAP. We can add those. Organizational unit, printer, user, shared folder. We can add all this to OU because we have 2000 plus group policies that we can use the combinations of those policies to implement on OUs, right? So first of all, organizational unit can have nearly everything, right? So second thing, what's the difference? Organizational unit can give us access to different resources or not. Can organizational units be added to groups? That's already decided. No, they cannot be added to a group. So this means they are not used for giving access. So one thing is, major thing is clear. They give access groups. Organizational units do not give us access to groups. Because in order to get an access, you have to be added to a certain group in that machine or server. Second thing, group policies gets, sorry?
Can group policies be applied to a group, or does it have to be applied only to an OU?
That's the next question. Gets applied to OU, domain, and site.
If there's a
But
group inside the OU,
groups are added in the group policy just to filter out that do not apply this policy to the members of this group. There is a filtering option inside group policy where you can add a group. This means you want to filter, okay, only this group gets the policy or the members of this group gets the policy, yes, but it does not directly get attached to the groups itself.
Group is part of an OU, you can still filter the groups and apply it to certain
We can,
groups and
yeah, so it will apply to that but not to those, right?
So the difference is, like, for groups, you can choose if it gets access or not, and for OU, you can apply policies. That's the difference. That's it.
So that gives access, groups.
Yeah.
OUs, you can organize according to department, according to branches, according to skills, or according to anything, any category you can think of. Make a OUs of that, then apply group policies on them. So
That means we cannot apply group policy on a group.
no.
Is there any order for the group policy you can apply for?
Yes, so we're going to start with group policy slide. I'm going to tell you there's a precedence for that which policy applies first and which policy applies.
I think you told us process.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Yeah, group policy, we had a full day spent on that. But this is a recap weekend. So can you say recap weekend fast?
Sounds like rehab.
Rehab. So OU, domain, site, and groups can be filtered. Second thing, and child OUs can also be added to that. So if I create a quick child OU here, Bacha OU. So it's Bacha OU. That's a very creative. Huh?
If you have said Kaka,
Kaka OU. So Kaka and Bacha, same thing. It's synonymous. So there's a Bacha OU here, and security group has a child OU, which is Bacha OU, and so if we need to implement group policies, so what if we don't talk about group policies? what does OU does? Put the group policies away. Organize. That's it. Then child OUs, create child OUs. If you don't have anything to do with group policy, that's it. That's what it does. But then the major factor comes here, the main thing comes here, you can put policies there, combination policies. So the topic starts with what group policies can organizational unit can do, and it ends where it starts here and ends here actually. That you can organize all these according to different folders and containers. It's a container if you don't involve group policies here. Now let's involve group policies here. So the topic, third topic starts, which is group policies, and we started with that that it applies on OU, domain level, site level. Suppose there's a site and there are 3 domains and 20 OUs, and then there's a policy implemented to block desktop.
Site.
So you eat a burger and there was some food poisoning there, and you implemented this block desktop on the site instead of you were given this task to put it on just an OU. So what happens here? Whatever's under the site gets that policy. But if there's a policy on one of the OUs here among 20 OUs to block inheritance.
What's that?
Like basically the rights to whatever, like how it says block desktop.
Yeah.
That's like an inheritance.
No,
So let me create a structure.
Any user below that.
There are child OUs and child OUs. So this is the parent OU. So just like called accounts department, and then there are child OUs like there's a account department for Toronto, then there's an account department for Hamilton, and so on, and Multan, and so now you implement it on site. Site has many domains, or 3 domains and countless OUs inside. One of the OUs here you have implemented or clicked that option called block inheritance.
So the child OU below it won't inherit that.
From on this and below, all child OUs will not inherit that policy. That is actually on site level, which is the topmost level,
Unless
right?
you do
And
enforce GPO.
unless
You enforce
Oh yeah. But if you apply enforced option on this, right?
okay, again I'll come there. I'll come to Niagara Falls.
Enforced is for a different purpose, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's our next topic, but after this is the next
What
topic.
you were saying. Enforce, we use enforce at the block inheritance after block inheritance. No, but the question is,
Question
like,
what is
if you apply block inheritance at this point, right? Which blocks underneath?
this level and underneath. This level and
But
underneath.
we want the policy to be implemented on this one too.
So
here we will use the enforced option.
So we will use the enforced option where?
Where? Because I want it here, right?
So you just want this to be
Locked.
ineffective.
Exactly.
Like whatever it's blocking, don't do that anymore.
Exactly.
If you want it to be ineffective, then above this or wherever the policy actually enforce is implemented on a policy and block inheritance is implemented on OU. So let me just show you OU. Oh, it rhymes. Cool. Here is the block inheritance, and here it's just two options right away. Site is this. So if we go to, we have to, first of all, the best practice is to create always new OU in group policy objects, exactly. Always create new policy. So if I quickly create a new policy, block D, and
there must be some reason to Microsoft is asking us to use the GPU when we go for the main. What's the reason?
GPO means the new policy that we are creating now.
No, yes. As you said, we should
So
always use the GPU, right?
Yeah.
Policy objects.
So the reason.
Microsoft also implements that. So what's the reason?
Okay, that's a question. But first question was enforce and block inheritance, right? After that, this question is also coming.
Too many questions.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, that we block inheritance on this child OU, and this policy on site level should reach here. All the users and computers inside this, but would be blocked from here. But now you discover that, and you don't want this to happen. So in account OU, first of all, if I just link it to the account OU, how do I go? Do I have an account OU here? Oh, I have a security OU here. So, and Bacha OU. So I link this block D, although I have a block desktop as well. Now the Bacha OU, we don't want the policy to be here. So block inheritance option is available on the OU level. Then enforce option is available only on the policy itself, not on OU. So let me show you now. Show you OU. Okay. Press OK. This is the policy. Suppose this is implemented on a site. Right click. Enforce option is available on the policy itself. Block, because you want to block policy from a child OU. So this option is only available on child OUs or containers only. So policy was implemented on site level, right? It's not implemented right above this or right above this or right above this. So you would go wherever the policy was implemented and just simply click enforce. So it would just make this in blockage ineffective. So it would no longer be blocking, although this option will still be enabled. Once enforce option is enabled on the policy, this will be ineffective as if it was never implemented.
So what if I have a
Question.
Okay, so say below it happens in OU, right? Say you have 3 more OUs, and you just,
Below.
Yeah, below that. But you just want the block inheritance on the Hamilton OU, and below, say you look on OU below Hamilton, you want to enforce the GPO just on that OU.
Just on that, but
Like skip one. Then
Yeah, you
go
want
to
to
the
skip
next.
one, but you want to do it on the next
Yeah,
OU.
that's the question.
skip one.
Yeah,
There are many ways to do that, but when you enforce
just on one.
is like a dictator rule. Enforce is one option, enable or disable. It does not give you workarounds or anything about that. And you implement it on site level, so it's topmost level. If you had implemented somewhere here on OU level, you could just put that OU somewhere else under another chain of child OUs, and you would be, not blocked. But enforce is just either enable or disable, and whatever is below it
So you
will
can
get.
specify which.
So there are no options there. It's a dictator rule. One thing, yes or no.
Okay.
So, but if it was not on this level, this is the topmost level, then you can actually, just move the child OU somewhere else where the chain is not affected by this enforce. So, but enforce is just one button.
Can we apply separately on the child OU then?
Can we apply what? The policy or the
Policy,
blockade?
Group policy.
Yeah,
It's a group
yeah.
policy.
Yeah.
So you
It's,
can just apply it here.
we can apply a new policy. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
We can
So-
Or the same policy you can link it to the child OU.
Repeat from this way.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
but you.
that's that will be void.
Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah.
So you want this policy to be linked to separately to this child OU as well,
Yeah.
right? But it is already, the scenario wise, it's already coming from top.
From the top, right?
So everyone involved is there.
But we have block
How-
inheritance at this level, so underneath, if you apply to the child OU, again, link it to there.
So after enforce, you're trying
It's not
to.
enforced. Enforced is not. It's
If
not,
if it's not enforced,
It's
then
not enforced.
oh, if the enforce is not there, then of course,
Yes.
yeah,
we can link it to
we can
this
then
one.
just link the.
But That's a whole different GPO.
Yeah. But the thing is, if enforce scenario is not there, then only. If enforce is there, any blockade anywhere
Same
is ineffective.
Same GPO
Same GPO can be applied.
So
At
after
any
block
OEM.
period, if I put
So
enforce,
anytime you can
enforce,
Yeah.
then it's going to continue, right?
You have just
Gonna be
need to link it.
So block
So even though it's
inherent
blocking, it's still
enforced
applied
option
on
is only put on policy, and policy you put it on site.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So way on the top, the enforce is only there.
So after the one I want to skip, I can
But
go
if
to the
it is
GPO again.
Yeah.
Okay.
enforced,
Fine.
then it will.
So is there any other way to skip that?
If it's enforced, then this will.
Okay,
go
there are still, we have 10 minutes. What is the difference between the, if I go to create a new policy, I already have so many policies now. If I go to edit, there are policies, there are preferences, there are window settings, control panel settings here, right? So preferences is a collection of all the scripts that the geniuses have been coming up with in last decade, and Microsoft has collected all those scripts and implemented the preferences portion of the group policy, while the policies itself is what Microsoft came up with, and they make changes. So implementing a script over 10 computers and implementing a policy over 10 computers, there's a difference. 10 computers or users. Anyway, so preferences means you're implementing a script on those machines. Policies means that there will be changes in the registry of those computers and users or users. So I just started that topic, but we're going to talk about policies and preferences, and then we're going to do what there was so much to do. Then we're going to do something different here that we did not do last time, just to touch another area of group policy. But what is the difference between policies and preferences? And preferences has different way of implementation. Policies, they make changes in the registry. If the policy is gone, the registry is updated. The policy implemented on 10 computers means it has made changes in the registry. Anyone knows what is registry? How do we access the registry? Regedit or registry editor. What does it contain?
The configuration and all the settings
Of?
of the local computer and users.
So regedit, this is the registry which is available in all the Windows OS, and you can go from run, and this has information about all the software and hardware of this machine, whatever is modifiable in hardware wise, but it's mainly, so HKey local machine has many changes for the modifiable hardware. HKey current user has changes for all the user related environment of an OS. Yeah.
You can change the number of times you can subscribe from here, right?
Sorry?
You know how you can subscribe 3 times?
Yeah.
Someone, I was reading a blog about it, that you can even change
The number,
times you can
exactly.
subscribe
So
to
it
it.
should not just crash the whole thing, or not just remove the whole table from there. Through registry, any just like in schema, what we know about schema, that it's a scheme of things. Registry is also, but the difference between this schema and the registry is that daily changes are made here in registry, but daily changes in schema are not made. So registry, you can change the behavior of all the components of user environment, like My Documents or Internet Explorer or whatever application you install on the OS. all the settings are in the registry, and if you have proper step-by-step procedure from the vendor, Microsoft, then you can change the behavior of all the software. So as example, you were saying that sysprep 3 times is allowed, 4th time it will remove all your configuration. So we can change that as well. We can remove the all control delete, that it stops on when the computer starts and the username password is there. We can remove this area, although it's in the GP edit, also in the policy, local policies as well, but we can change anything from registry as well. So group policies portion makes changes in the registry of the user environment and computer environment. Preferences are scripts that we are running from the server, from the main server to all the computers, and they may or may not make changes in the registry of any OS, right? So we're gonna work a lot on one example of the policies, but more examples we're gonna work on preferences to make the point, and what are other major differences there. So 2 o'clock, and till now I think audio recording must be good. Otherwise, I'll have to get a mic. Yeah.
The GPU has 2 parts.
The users and computers. Yeah.
No, the GPU.
Group policy. Okay.
This container has 2. One is container, another is information, right?
Container and information. Okay. So
Both are saved in syscall or only one option?
So the policy portion is saved there, which is going to make a difference there. Yeah.
Information is stored.
And sysvol we can. Okay. So group policy, although we did the basic one class, but we're going to repeat the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but main points. And this is a good question. So we'll visit the sysvol portion. Whatever policies we have made till now will be shown there as implemented there. I mean, placed there. Yeah. I hope the video.